This is not Nottingham. And this also is not Nottingham. And this, whilst it is very close, is also not Nottingham. But this is. And more specifically, this is the slightly grey yet somehow vibrant town of Beeston in Nottingham. And whilst it may not be visually incredible, Beeston hosts many accolades, but today we're interested in just one of them, and that is its public houses. Beeston is home to a fantastic array of pubs, and I cannot emphasise this enough, some of the best beer in the entire country. Now please sit back and join me on an afternoon mini tour of some of the very best that Beeston has to offer. First up, a small stroll down the Chilwell High Road to the brand new Totally Tapped. Previously opened just a few doors down from where we are today, Totally Tapped was one of the smallest pubs in the county and, as you'll soon see, has only grown a little in its new venue. Totally Tapped gets its name from the brewery that operates it, or perhaps that I should say used to operate it. Totally Tapped was until a few short weeks ago a tap room for the Nottingham-based Totally Brewed brewery. Sadly though, that brewery has had to shut its doors in these difficult financial times, so a part of today's mission was to experience one of the last Totally Brewed beers fresh from the source before it's all gone. And I was in luck with a beer that I had actually recently reviewed in can form, a 5.2% chocolate fruitcake stout called Turn Out the Lights. As you can see, Totally Tapped is still an incredibly snug and homely bar with some beautiful decor and enough room inside for up to around 15 to 20 people at the very most. That said, one of the main factors in their decision to move to the new venue was the addition of some outdoor space, which wasn't ready to be shown during this trip, but should enable a good doubling of capacity within the warmer months. And with that, it's time for another beer, and it's only right for us to stay local just for now with a modern best bitter from the legends at Bang the Elephant Brewery. Beer and Skittles according to Gunther at a delightful 4.6%. And given how good the beer here is, we'll just have to stay for one more before moving along to our next pub. And this time we're going international with a double dry hopped IPA at 6% called Tasty Juice from the acclaimed Norwegian brewers Lervig. And now we're off on a short 5-minute walk down to The Crown, and this, I must say, is probably my favourite local traditional pub. They have an incredible outdoor seating setup which is viable almost year round, and the real standout for me is that I've never been left disappointed with both the beer selection or the quality of the beer here. The Crown Inn, as you can tell, is a very traditional, low ceiling, low light British boozer, and it has a warm and welcoming atmosphere as a result. This pub is split into a number of sections, including a small traditional bar at the front, a large lounge bar at the rear, and a cosy snug room to the side, which is where we opted to sit as it was empty for a very brief moment. On entry, a pump clip from the Bristol Beer Factory immediately caught my eye. A 4.5% milk stout sounded like just the ticket. Other than the oddly large collection of Jilly Cooper books, this pub is exactly what you'd want and expect for that classic British pub experience. Shortly after sitting down with this first pint, the room was flooded with 10 chaps who clearly already had a few bevies earlier on in the day. And indeed they had, as they were on a train-based pub crawl, having caught the train in Leicester, headed north in the morning and were stopping at a pub or 3 at every stop on their way back down. As a result, filming became a little difficult, so I opted for a pint of Titanic Stout on keg, which, for those discussing the potential modern Guinness beaters, this, from the Crown Inn specifically, is simply the king.
Played the role of the Fleming character, and as soon as they moved to the island.
And now, off we go to our third and final stop on today's mini tour, the Star Inn. The Star Inn has a little bit of everything for everyone. An often busy establishment with a huge number of cask ale lines, a well regarded kitchen, heaps of outdoor space and even a kids play area right down the back makes it a very appealing location for so many. Today though, we're hanging around in the proper pub area at the front of the building to enjoy one last pint and a bite to eat before heading home. My choice here is another local legend, the Little Brewing Company, formerly known as the Little Over Brewery. Little have been making huge strides in recent years and their beer is now absolutely top tier. The Panther Oatmeal Stout is what I've selected to finish up our trip on, and of course another glass of red wine for Mrs. Crummybeard, who has been here the whole time, just hiding out of shot. This is another classic pub with an interesting selection of literature on offer, including an array of National Geographic magazines, including this one featuring a seal which, well, frankly, looks a bit like one of my dogs and is kind of cute. The food here is affordable and quick pub grub done to a fantastic standard. We opted to share these gorgeous loaded fries and a pizza, the Star Special. A strong recommendation should you ever find yourself hungry in this part of the world. And whilst that might bring our mini tour of Beeston to an end, there are so many more fantastic venues here that you could really make an all-day event out of. The 3 locations we visited here today were Totally Tapped, the Crown Inn and the Star Inn. However, if you wanted to expand your adventure, there's also the Victoria Hotel, situated right off the train station platform. They also offer a superb range of local and national real ales, craft beers and a host of European staples. The food here is more geared towards healthy home cooking, but it's an absolute must try with a huge vegetarian and vegan selection if that's your thing. The Commercial Inn, this location is still branded as a Green King pub, which may be a bit of a turn off to some, but do not fear, the kitchen is independent and the beer selection goes far beyond the norm for a Green King establishment. Then we have the Malt Shovel, again another location dedicated to quality local ales and some great pub grub to go along with it. And these are just my personal highlights, with new startups including a craft beer barbershop and an endless number of cafe inspiring drinking venues. There really is an endless sea of quality beer opportunities to be found in this small suburban town. And that really is it. So until next time, cheers.